be respectful. If you need anything, tell them.
How's everyone doing today? Good, good. My name is Denarius Lewis. I'm a motivational speaker, author, activist, real estate investor, basically an all-around entrepreneur. What we're going to go through today is basically who I am. That's a big question I believe everyone can answer for themselves. When you look in the mirror, you have to question, who are you and who do you want to be? You'll learn a little bit about my story, and we'll go from there. I've written 2 books. My first book is called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I wrote this book when I was 19 years old, teaching people how to intellectually understand their inner thoughts. Right now, we're all thinking something internally, but how we channel our energy to become who we want to be is all determined behind our actions. And the second book I wrote is called The Essence of Inspiration. We all get inspired, whether we watch Kobe, we watch LeBron, whatever we find inspiration in. How do we actually take that inspiration and define who we are going forward? And so, my big goal when I was younger was to be an entrepreneur, plant the seed, and once you plant the seed, something will grow. So as I've been able to learn the gratitudes of life and the actions that I necessarily needed to take, my big goal was always to retire my mom. My mom's been working 22 years at Walmart, single parent household. I didn't grow up with a dad, so one of the things I was always aware of is like, well, who am I, who will I become? And I, at times didn't have someone to look up to. So planting the seed. Planting the seed is meaning in a definition of something that you plant, once you water it, it will grow. We all have goals in this room. We all have something we want to do. We all have something we want to go, where we want to go. We may not know the road that's going to take us there, but we know we're going to get there. So the actions that you all take going in your life, you guys are young, but sometimes we make improper actions. And when we make those improper actions is because we're sometimes surrounding ourselves with the wrong people who don't mirror who we are internally. When I was in high school, I was a class clown, knucklehead. I was a wrestler, wrestled for 10 years, went to state, I was ranked in state. But my friends, they weren't as athletic as me. Some of my friends they rolled up, they partied in high school, did things that were illegal, and at the age that they are now, they're still living that lifestyle because sometimes we're stuck in a pattern that we're not sometimes aware of. So when I was younger, my goal was to go to college, and I didn't have the GPA. I graduated high school with a 1.4, but I went to 3 colleges in 3 years. One of the colleges I went to was Iowa Central. I was a part of a national champion wrestling team, cross-country team. I went to school out of Sierra Nevada College in Lake Tahoe, then I ultimately went to St. Cloud. Within that transfer, all those different transfers, I had some transitions. My big goal was to create an app. Just come up with this idea. This is when I was 19, 18 years old. Every time I went on my iPhone, I saw a stick figure game. It was called Line Runner, which is a stick figure running downhill and there's a ball running at you. Then I kept seeing Zombie versus Plants, The Walking Dead, and I said, man, let's create a game where you're a stick figure and zombies are popping out of the ground. So when I was 19 years old, I finally came up with the concept called Zombie Doodle. I hired a company overseas to do so. I didn't have any money at that time, so I used my student refund check to create an app, create a company. But I put all of my eggs in one basket because, again, when you're young, you think one way is going to work, and sometimes it's not the end result. So I ended up basically broke. I survived the summer of 2013 with $1.78. I was homeless at 19 years old, and this is a screenshot of my bank account at that time, which was all I had was around $7.40. Didn't have a car, didn't have a license, didn't know. I had a longboard. I was longboarding places to look for opportunities. And one thing I didn't understand behind the things I was wanting for my life, it was all in reflection of my environment. All my friends are partiers. Drinking, smoking, doing all the things that, again, I didn't necessarily want to do, but I was around because I'm a funny, cool guy everyone wants to be around. But my dreams are bigger than my environment. So what I wanted to do was, I wanted to be a speaker. I wanted to do things that were outlandish compared to my environment. And so at 19 years old, I joined the Chambers of Commerce, which is where business owners get together and they powwow and learn how to do business with each other. And how did I get there? I picked up a book. The book was called Branding Yourself by Kyle Lacey and Eric Deckers. It said, do what professionals do, go where professionals go, and wear what they wear. And at 19, I joined the Chambers of Commerce. I met a mentor. My mentor, she took me under her wing. I didn't know anything about being in the business, didn't know how to manage income. I was broke. I just had this big aspiration. And she put all the books in my hand that helped me do that. At that point, she was in her 60s. She was making $100,000 a month passively, which means she wasn't doing anything besides just sitting back, networking, meeting people, and her money was coming in because of something she did 10 years prior. At 19, my goal, again, I didn't have a car license or permit. So it was my first business at 15 years old. I was selling cell phones off Craigslist, and that was my hustle. Craigslist, and I once traded an iPhone 5 for this moped. Drove this moped from Minnesota to Iowa to visit my girlfriend at one time. Don't highly recommend it. I got a $195 ticket for going too slow because it's a moped. I'm on the highway. So that was one of my fails. This is the photo when I first started my business I think this was 2014 in September. This is me at 19 years old. I was the only person of color in this Chamber of Commerce. I was youngest too, so I was insecure, being the only brother in an all Caucasian environment. But I didn't let those fears or those things, limit who I wanted to be. And I, again, got out of that element of insecurity. One of the things I always tell people is that we all have insecurities. Our perceptions of our insecurity limit us. Everyone in this room has some form of insecurity, whether that's financially, physically, emotionally, but it's how we address it and then how we actually go about it. So once I started to plant the seed, my follower base and the things I wanted to do started to manifest. Now, at this time, I have 11,000 followers on Twitter, 11,000 followers on Instagram, 13,000 followers on LinkedIn, thousands of people follow me on Facebook. A lot of the people that follow me are mayors. I have the mayor of St. Paul, Minneapolis. I work with police departments as well. I have a couple of documentaries that I've been doing with the police department. It's called Pose with the Cop. As we all see, there's some friction between police and the community. Well, instead of me continually sharing the video, voicing my frustration, I joined the march. I joined the Black Lives Matter movement back in 2014 when I was very young, didn't really understand the message, but I knew as a person of color, I was different, and I was going to be viewed different through the eyes of those who are somewhat in a superior element. So when I started planting that seed, again, my follower base got bigger, my voice, people started to resonate with who I am as a person, and that's what I really try to get at. Everyone in this room can resonate to someone. We all have passions. My favorite thing to do when I'm chilling, playing 2K. I'm a 2K junkie. I like playing Madden, Call of Duty, but outside of being that, I also like to interact with youth. I like hanging out with kids. I go to the YMCA and I'll dust some kids from basketball from time to time. And what I'm really trying to get at is that everyone in this room has a goal, has a purpose, and wants to do something. Someone in this room you may be working for someday. You never know. And a lot of the people, I say that because I'm now outside of high school. I graduated in 2011. And a lot of the friends that I'm now somewhat around, I've hired them to work alongside us with different things that I do. I used to manage artists in the music world. I've done some music videos and stuff like that. But I realized that some of the people in my environment have some of the skills that I wish I had. So why not bring them onto what I'm doing so they can flourish as well? So what are the seeds? What's important to you? Knowing your surroundings, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And what is your why? Your why is your purpose. Who you are and what you resonate with. Everyone in this room has a purpose, has a why. You may not know what that looks like, but you know there's something inside you that say, this is what I want to do. Like I said, my first why was to retire my mom. Next month, actually at the end of this month, I'll be in Tennessee, that's where I'm from. My mom's retiring, and I've been blessed to help her financially throughout these years, so she can now transition into finding what she wants to do outside of working. She's been working, like I said, 20 years at Walmart. We all know what Walmart is, and the stipulations of what Walmart our jobs put the stress on us. So I, again, at 26 last year, I'm still 26, but I'm the first homeowner in my house. I grew up as renters, paycheck to paycheck. And at 23 years old, I had to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy. The same month that I filed bankruptcy was the same month I got dumped. It was the same month I got fired from my job. And I had to live with my ex-girlfriend for 7 more months until our lease was up because, again, I didn't have the money, I didn't have a job, and I barely had anywhere to go. And in that transition, the very next day, after I got dumped and all this stuff started to fall apart, PBS had picked up my story and I'm getting interviewed about how successful I am. And I was like, what? This is crazy. And what I realized is that I was on my road to my purpose. Sometimes when you're on your purpose, not everything works out. That's just how life is. We may have a plan, but we also may have to alter that plan. And at that time, in 2015, my goal was to purchase a house with my partner. I was in a relationship. Didn't work out. So I had to grind for 3 years, building my credit up, getting a job, being stable, to now where last year in October, I bought my first duplex. I'm living mortgage free, I'm living rent free, I have renters, I'm a landlord at 26 years old. And this fall, I'm looking to purchase my next apartment building and, again, become financial independence. If money was never an option, what would you do with your life? Because somewhere we're taught that you have to go get a job, go to school, get good grades, and go to college. And I went down that path. And when I went down that path, I put myself in lots of debt, over $44,000 in debt. And I learned that sometimes college wasn't for me. I was a knucklehead, and I got a 3.6 when I went to college, but my passion was meeting people. My passion was building businesses. The things you see on Instagram, I wanted to live that life. But sometimes we want to live a life but not knowing what it actually takes to get there. So planting your seeds. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? When I was your age, I did not see myself in the next 5 years homeless, broke. But that played out at one point. Where do I see myself in the next 5 years from now? I'll be in my 30s, 32, 31, living life. I want to have kids. I want to be a dad. I want to do things I, again, didn't necessarily grow up with. So throughout these years, I've just been planting the seed, hanging out with kids. We have a new business. This is my business partner right now. We have a new business. We're just hiring kids. So my organization is called Optimum Outreach. I own a telecommunication brokerage. We hire 16 and 20-year-olds. We hire them at a decent wage, $14 an hour. And you get to hang out with entrepreneurs like ourselves in a call center setting. And what our goal is to help kids build themselves up at an earlier age. We have partnerships with Merrill Lynch, Bell Bank, and helping you guys learn financial independence, financial literacy, knowing how to live and make your money work for you outside of you working for the money. But how did I learn all this? I started to surround myself with people who thought bigger than me, who had more wealth than me. One of my closest mentors, his name is Child, cool guys, my homie, day one. He makes $100,000 a day with his business. So some of those, that's like, wow, what? But when I looked down his business model and I started to really hang out around him, I saw how he was able to do that. He built an artificial intelligence for the real estate mortgage department, which is basically he created Siri. If you were to go apply for a business on a website like a Rocket Mortgage, that AI that you talk to, like an artificial intelligence, hey, this is what I want, they'll talk back to you. He created that concept with 3 different partners. His partners are Berkshire Hathaway, Zillow. Berkshire Hathaway is Warren Buffett's company. So he's partnered with Warren Buffett. But how did I get to that table? It was me networking, me knowing I had a purpose, and me knowing I had a why, but also me getting out of my insecurity. Because we all have insecurity. At one point, I just stuttered a lot. I wrestled. I had 9 concussions. So I had to learn how to speak slower, articulate, and get to the point. Because at one point, again, I was very fragile. I was shaky, and I couldn't have the mic up to my head. But I had people who believed in me more than I believed in myself. So those are the seeds that you have to plant in your life, because you have teachers in your life, you have guidances, you have parents, you have friends. But sometimes your friends don't see you in the light that you see yourself. I have till this day. I've been speaking for quite some time. I got my business. I'm living rent-free. I'm doing the things that I told myself I was going to do at the time I did it. And I still have friends that don't, give you the kudos. It is what it is. But you have to understand, sometimes they're your friends you can make your friends or friends from a distance. And I had to block one of my closest friends August 31st, 2019. I realized he wasn't really in the same spectrum. You want to have your day ones when you get to success. And I realized my partner really brought my girlfriend really brought it to my attention. It's okay to have your day ones, but you don't have to hang out with them every single day. Because again, the things that I'm doing, interacting with schools, kids and stuff, I can't be around a person who's still getting in trouble with the law, rolling up before they even go to the mall. We have friends like this that roll up just to go take the trash out. And that was the environment I was hanging out with as recent as August 31st. And I had to really close myself off and said, if I'm really going to be the person I know God has intended me to be, I have to make that first step. And the first step I had to do was close those dead ends and those relationships. So once you start to water things, you start to progress. So like I said, I joined the chamber, I joined all these different organizations, but Black Lives Matter is one of the organizations that I resonated with, because it's not about anything outside of just the progression of life. So I was front row. This photo is actually on Netflix at the documentary called The 13th, the prison and school pipeline. If you guys ever see it, it's on Netflix. But when I was watching that movie, because this is the things I work with cops, all these different things, I screamed. I was like, I'm in this movie. I've been doing this for years, and I'm now blessed to see that, hey, this was, I cried at this rally, because this was around Trayvon Martin, the Trayvon Martin case. I got really compelled when I saw the Trayvon Martin and the Mike Brown, and I said, all right, there has to be something. There has to be something I can do. And then the people that were organizing this is like 10,000 people on the front row, and I was able to, again, get network with those folks. Fast for today, a lot of these people are my friends. The NAACP, they just shut down Ava Klobuchar's event yesterday. I see everyone as front news, and there's all the people I literally know and hang out with. And today we have Bernie Sanders coming today at 5:30. I'll be at the Bernie Sanders rally with some of the council members. And so I'm still active in the world of politics. It's just changed my focus as I'm looking to do. As I started to plant those seeds, I started working with the police department. I work with the Brooklyn Center Police Department. I'm a part of their Multicultural Advisory Committee, which I come in monthly. I hang out with cops. I'm a part of their hiring panel. So for sergeants that want to be promoted, in what ways can police officers interact with communities that they don't look like? So I'm the person that comes to the table